Welcome to Ranger Talk. I am your host, G Syl, aka Sizzle, you hear me? And those that don't know about me, I'm from Chicago, born and raised. Wild Hunters, 12-8, 128 and Wallace, you hear me? And I've been in the music industry since 2001. I started off in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I just looked in a phone book, woke up one morning and said I'm going to the studio. Found me a studio in a phone book, called him and booked the session and was on since then, you hear me? In 2016, that's when I started my initial industry artistry. Growing up, same block, same neighborhood. My big bro Malik Yusuf, big shout out to bro. Brought me out to the West Coast to LA to work with him, and I became on the inside looking out. I learned a lot of things about the industry, about music, about making a song, about making a beat, about producing a beat. I learned about touring. I learned a lot about that, touring. I met a lot of people. Met a lot of industry people. Learned a lot from them too. Gained a lot of sources, resources, and relations. You know, that's what you want to do when you're in this industry. You want to build, you know, and building is building your relations and resources. That's how you get money. So, yeah, that was my journey. You know, started off, you know, working with bro. Later, you know, moved to Vegas. Then initially transitioned to here to Phoenix, Arizona. Doing that journey, I did a little acting, and I got an Emmy from it, from a docuseries CNN called United Shades of America. I believe, don't know what season it's in, but I know I can go back and look for you all, or you can do it yourself. CNN, United States of America, Chicago Gangs. We got an Emmy from that. Kamal, he wound up getting booking his second season because of that show. We did like 895,000 our first debut, and it was so good they had reran it the next week. Instead of going into the next episode, they reran ours, and we did 1 million views then. But yeah, I did a little bit of acting, you know, gained that, you know, and yeah, it's been a transition, you know. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, you know. We're gonna go probably a little bit more into me a little later, but I want to get straight into it, you know what I'm saying, what's trending out here, you know, in the news. And it's ICE, man, it's ICE shooting. Y'all peep that, man? Did y'all peep that with Renee Good and an officer?
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the
car. That was crazy, man. I mean, it showed clear as day on his camera, and he actually recording it. He got one phone recording in one hand, and he got a gun in another hand, you know. And the lady, you see it clear as day. She turning from him, but you know, in his mind, he thinking he turning for him, and he shot her. Bam! Shot through the window 3 times and shot her. Crazy, man. Crazy. You know, I want to know what y'all think about that. What's y'all outlook on that, man? And you know, it's been a crazy deal because they've issued out 1,000 more troops into Minneapolis, ICE agents. and it's that shooting is kind of crazy because it's and I say that because the government is in a split with it. The feds saying it was self-defense. The state government saying it was reckless. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bitch controversy over that. Huge controversy over that, man. ICE is going crazy. They're sending troops in everywhere. That whole targeting was for Somalians, illegal Somalians, and Trump is doing this all over. You know, Chicago with the Venezuelans. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's super crazy. You know that how ICE is acting up there. I mean, they running in people's homes. They shooting at officers. They shooting tear gas at officers and civilians. Like, they just illegally running into people's homes. Like, ICE is off the chain, man. It's crazy. And I hate to see what it's going to come to in the future, man. Like, at some point, justice got to be served and things got to be done right. You feel me? Going off into other news, man. We might be going into war with Iran, man. We might be going into war with Iran. There's been over 500 protesters killed as of today. And 8 of them was children.
Iranian state television on Monday broadcast funeral processions for people who authorities claimed were killed during, quote, terrorist actions led by the United States and Israel. Tehran has accused the U.S. and Israel of fomenting trouble after a violent crackdown on protests over the weekend.
Right now, we have a number of 490 confirmed protester deaths. That includes 8 children.
Skylar Thompson, a deputy director at Human Rights Activists in Iran, based in New York, told Reuters on Sunday her group tallied more than 10,000 arrests in 2 weeks of clashes between protesters and government forces.
We have seen the use of lethal force indiscriminately against protesters, and we have evidence of close-range gunshot wounds. We have evidence of tear gassing. We have evidence of military-grade weapons being deployed on individuals protesting in the streets, and this is absolutely unacceptable.
Iran has not given an official death toll, and Reuters was unable to independently verify the tallies. The flow of information from Iran has been hampered by an internet blackout since Thursday. Iran's current protests began on December 28th in response to soaring prices, before turning against the clerical rulers who have governed since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Iran has weathered past waves of protests with crackdowns, but this time Tehran faces the unrest after seeing its regional clout depleted, including the defeat of allies in Syria. And the country is still rebuilding from a war with Israel last year that included U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Sunday he was weighing responses to the violence, including a military option.
But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Trump said that Iran had called to negotiate on its nuclear program. A U.S. official told Reuters Trump was to meet with senior advisors on Tuesday to discuss options for Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Monday said Iran did not seek war, but was prepared for it. He said the situation was under total control and that Tehran was ready for negotiations with Washington. Araghchi said more than 50 mosques had been set on fire since the protests erupted, and that, quote, no Iranian would attack a mosque.
That's crazy. The Iranians, they talking that they willing and ready to do some type of proposal. They're willing to talk, but they are ready and prepared for war. You hear me? Ready and prepared for war. So it look like we might be going to war soon. The way Trump is talking, like, you know, he might be sending the military in there to do something about that, because there's just too many people getting killed, man. By the day, the number is steady growing. And speaking of Trump, it's crazy, man. Like, this is a new age. Trump doing things like way back in the day, way back in time, just running into people's countries and taking what he wills and what he wants and doing what he wants.
50 million barrels of sanctioned Venezuelan oil for the United States, and a new requirement for Venezuela: remove Chinese, Russian, and Iranian influence from its land. These are the latest conditions set by the Trump administration for Venezuela's leaders, following the capture and arrest of Nicolas Maduro. So what happens next? How will all of this unfold? Joining us is former federal prosecutor John Deaton. Okay, John, is this all about combating narco trafficking, controlling oil, or kicking China, Russia, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere?
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything, but this is what I would like to go back to. Let's go back to when Barack Obama declared that, signed an executive order stating that Venezuela and Maduro were a, quote, unusual and extraordinary threat to national security and foreign policy of the United States. That was under Barack Obama. And then under Biden, Biden stated that this was Maduro had stolen an election, was a threat, needed to be removed. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer, complained that Trump didn't do enough against Maduro in his first term. And now all of a sudden it's all about oil, and you'd act like we kidnapped a civic person in a sovereign land. And I think this was the right thing to do. The military operation from a Marine perspective was legendary.
It's almost like we kidnapped another Maryland dad. What are your thoughts on the...
Can't just do that, man. I mean, Venezuela is a sovereign country. How you just go run up in there, snatch their president, arrest him, and put a siege and take the oil? Like, was this all just for that? What was the reason for this? What was the cause? I want to know what y'all think about this. I want to know what y'all think about this Iranian situation. I want to know what y'all think about the ICE situation as well, man. Y'all leave me comments. Y'all leave me comments, man. I want to know what y'all think about this stuff, man. You know, because it's crazy, man. Also, turning news, Trump says he will have Greenland.
If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen. Yeah, sure, I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland. Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. I like NATO. I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spend a lot of money on NATO. And I'm not sure they would. But Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds. In the meantime, you have Russian destroyers and submarines and China destroyers and submarines all over the place. We're not going to let that happen. And if it affects NATO, then it affects NATO. But, you know, they need us much more than we need them. I will tell you that right now.
Trump says he will have Greenland now. Why do we want Greenland? Can anybody ask me that question? Why do Trump so hardly want Greenland? And he says, if he don't get it, Russia or China will. So he's going to beat them to it. And he's like totally trying to buy out Greenland, trying to buy them. But Greenland is owned by Denmark. And Denmark is part of NATO. And Denmark says Greenland is not for sale. So how is this going to look with NATO if 2 NATO countries is clashing with each other? You feel me? This is crazy, man. What do y'all think about that? Also in turning news, in LA, a U-Haul drives into the crowd of an anti-Iranian regime protest. You see how crazy this is getting? From 500 people getting killed over there, Iran. Then you got a guy in LA, here in the United States, during an anti-Iranian regime protest, just drives a U-Haul straight through the crowd. What was all that about? Who was all that about? And what's to that? Like, what was the motive to that? You know, I want to know about, I want to know y'all comments. Give me some comments, man. What y'all think about this, man? This is crazy. It's crazy what's going on here with this news and stuff. You know, I'm going to switch it over. I'm going to go into entertainment. We had the Golden Globes yesterday. Shout out to Tiana Taylor for winning Best Performance by a female actor in a supporting role in any film. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan with Sinners. They won one. Shout out to J-Lo in that dress, man. She was wearing. Goodness. Man. In sports, we got a lot of crazy stuff happened over the weekend, man. A lot of crazy stuff happened. First and foremost, I'm going to get to my team, the Bears. The Bears. You hear me? Bet down. We won. We beat Green Bay. You hear me? 31-27. We going to the playoffs. We got a division. You hear me? We going to see the Rams, and we're going to do what we do with them. But, yeah, it was a crazy Rams beat the Panthers 34-31. Bears, we beat Packers 31-27. Bills beat the Jags 27-24. That was a good one. The Niners beat the Eagles. That was a huge upset. I wasn't thinking on that, but I had a funny little feeling that the Niners might do it. Even though they lost their tight end. That's crazy. They lost Kittle and still won. 23-19. And the Patriots got the Chargers 16-3. We're going to see what's happening tonight with Pittsburgh and the Texans. Steelers and the Texans. I think the Texans, they go get that one. We're looking at playoffs next week. We got the Bills versus the Broncos. We got the Niners versus the Seahawks. We got the Rams versus the Bears. My picks, I'm going with the Broncos over the Bills. I'm going with the Seahawks over the Niners. Yeah, it sounds crazy. Rams is supercharged, but I'm going with my Bears because I am a thoroughbred, diehard, all the way to 1985 Bears fan. You hear me? Super Bowl Shuffle. Super Bowl Shuffle. We gonna do it again this year. You know what I'm saying? God willing. But I'm going with my Bears. Bet down, man. And we waiting on the winner of the Texans-Steelers game to see who will face the Patriots. In basketball tonight, we got Jazz versus the Cavs. I'm going with the Cavs on that. Celtics versus Pacers. I'm going with the Celtics on that. Sixers versus Raptors. That's going to be a nice good one. I don't know who to think on now. I don't know who to take because Raptors got a good defense now. We got the Nets and the Mavericks. That one is kind of toss up too. But I'm gonna lean more with Dallas on that one. Lakers versus Kings. I'm going with Lakers, LeBron, and Doncic over there. Hornets and Clippers. I'm gonna roll with the Clippers on that one. Turning into music, there have been some new releases out. Boosie just dropped a new album. Bad Talk 4. Kevin Gates just dropped a new album, Real Ninjas Holiday. Max B just dropped a new joint, Public Domain 7 The Surge. Dave East, he just dropped another one, East Mix Volume 1. Mozzie just dropped a joint, Permanent Tears. Benny the Butcher just dropped a single. El Carnicero. Mac from No Limit, y'all. All you No Limit fans, I'm one of them. I'm a big Mac fan too. He just dropped a new single called Testarossa. Young Boy Never Broke Again. He just dropped a new single as well. Top Cobain. He in a beef with somebody. I just seen a diss song. I just heard the diss song of it too. That boy, he be beefing with everybody. But to each his own, man. I don't really get off into that beef stuff, you know. I'm a man of peace, you know. I just like to just sit back, chill in my lane, and not get involved in too much anything that's going on, man. Turning into the weed, turning into today's top weed strand of the day throughout the whole country. What y'all guess it is? What y'all think it is? What y'all guess y'all think it is? Nope, wrong. Today's top strain, coming from Google, y'all, is Blue Dream. Next is Sour Diesel. Two of my favorites, you hear me? Blue Dream is a hybrid, and Sour Diesel is a sativa. And I want to educate y'all a little bit too when it comes to weed, man, cannabis. Because people think, people just smoke weed just to get high, Some do, but some don't. Some use it for medicinal purposes. And me, myself, I do too. Use it for medicinal purposes. Certain strands, hybrids, certain indicas, especially indicas. Indicas, they lay you back. They relaxes you. Sometimes, some of them are inflammatory, so they eases the joints. They get the tension out the joints and out of your, the joints in your body. They eases your body and your muscles, It relaxes you. When like certain pills, they'll put you to sleep. I didn't know the difference of weed, of cannabis, until I came to the West Coast. I learned about indica. I learned about sativa. I learned about hybrid. Indica is the type of strand that will have you like laid back, or stuck, or like, slow moving, or sleepy, put you to sleep. That's usually what indica does, and that's what a lot of people use it for, to put them to sleep, help them go to sleep, help them relax, help them to calm down. Some people have problems going to sleep. Some people, have problems calming down, relaxing. So people will smoke that for medicinal cases to get some rest or to get in a relaxed state. Sativa is the opposite. Sativa brings you up. It's more of a head high. Indica is a body high. It rejuvenates you, have you in a good energetic mode, moving. That's what Sour Diesel is. Sour Diesel is one of my favorite strands too. It peps you up, it gets you up, it gives you a great high energy, and it's a head high. So you feel it mainly in your head and your mind, which a lot of artists do smoke sativa because it is a high. It has you in your head, it has your mind and your brain moving, 50,000 thoughts going through your mind. So some people use that for those causes too, to stimulate their mind. A lot of artists do that with music. They will smoke some sativa, or however they use, they will use sativa to spark their mind, to stimulate their mind. And then you have hybrid, which is 50-50. It's both of them. I sometimes use both too, because sometimes I don't want to be head high and I don't want to be body high. So I have sometimes use a mix of both. But cannabis has its, like I say, it has medicinal purposes. I want you all to know that. I want you to all, people who smoke, let's get into them strands, There's cannabis that has CBD in it, you know, that helps with joint relaxation or joint tension or inflammatory of the joints, you know. CBD is medicinally used a lot, especially with athletes. Athletes use CBD a lot. I use it. I use a rub. I use a CBD rub, and I tell you, when I put this rub on, and I wake up in the morning, my legs, wherever I put it at, man, feel totally different. Like the tension out of it, the pain, the whatever it was, it's gone. You hear me? It's gone. So I want you people who indulge in cannabis and the ones that don't, you know, look into it. Look into the medicinal purposes of it. You know, I have a lot of medicinal purposes. It does have a health to it. You know, it ain't all just about recreational fun, just getting high. You know, yeah. I want you all to look into them strands, man. But today's strand is Blue Dream. And coming in second is Sour Diesel, by one of my favorites. And we going into today's hottest artist in Chicago. Coming from DopeTracksRadio.com is Angel 13. And today's hottest Phoenix artist as of right now is Jersey Dunno. Shout out to y'all. Big shout outs to y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing. Keep trending, keep making hot music. And I want to leave y'all with one memorable industry memory. The first time I came into Universal Studio, Universal Publishing Music Group, my ad. I was like, wow. I was wowed out. You know, first time in an industry studio, you know, just seeing it from the outside, big old globe, Universal Music Group going around it. You know, I took a picture of it with holding it in my hand like this, you know, going in and just seeing like within these offices, it's like, well, all these major executives are and A&Rs are, you know, and all the artists that have recorded in here, and it's like now I'm one of them now, you know. I was so awed about that. I was so wowed about it, you know. First time ever in a industry recording studio. Everything was different. Like the mic was so clear, the room was so clear, like you could feel the energy and the presence from other artists inside there. Like the vibes was so strong in there. And it didn't took me long to adapt, you know. You got confidence in yourself and confidence in your artistry, in your craft, then yeah, you know, it ain't gonna take you long to adapt to any studio, which it didn't. And I went in there, boy, and I killed that joint. Definitely. But that was like that was one of my industry memorable moments of me ever. First time recording in Universal Music Group. And I killed it. I didn't choke. I went in there and I did what I was supposed to do. And I'll never forget it. And I'm going to wrap it up. It's been fun talking with y'all. I want to know y'all thoughts. I want to know y'all comments. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments. Let me know what y'all thinking. And I'm going to get on up out of here. And I'm going to holler back at y'all on the next episode. Oh, the next episode, industry memory is going to be crucial. It's going to be real crucial, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. G Syl, I'm out.